are in a constitutional crisis. There's no easy way to say this, but with the recent results of this national election, we have been pushed into a fight. This will come down to constitutional principles, and all I can say is thank our maker that we have a majority finally in the Supreme Court. Not a large majority, it's a 5-4 majority. Some people would argue that it's a 6-3, but the Chief Justice is not a constitutionalist. So I've taken some notes. I've got my pocket constitution here. This was provided by Hillsdale College. I've taken some of their constitutional classes in the past, and they are really awesome for learning the truth. I've also taken some notes just because I tend to ramble, as many of you know. There are a lot of people that right now are wailing and crying and wringing their hands and gnashing their teeth. Yeah, okay. Don't. This will all play out one way or the other. We've been pushed into this constitutional crisis by those who would deceive and steal and cheat and lie. Mainly the fake news. Nowhere in the Constitution, and again, I've read through it, I've read every word of this, all of the amendments, the Declaration of Independence, but nowhere on there does it say in the Constitution that the media selects the president. So regardless of what states they've called, regardless of what kind of shenanigans the fake news is trying to pull right now, they don't select the president. You and I and the rest of our fellow citizens are who selects the president, the Senate, the House of Representatives, and our local officials. No one else. And this can't be stolen from us, and that's where the fight comes. We have a voting day. It's set by statute as the Tuesday next after the first Monday in November. You can find this in 3 U.S.C. subsection 1, 2 U.S.C. subsection 1, and 2 U.S.C. subsection 7. You can see I've done my little bit of homework. Why can't anybody else? We don't have a voting week. We don't have a voting month. So all of these late ballots that are coming in, null and void. So let that warm your heart and give you some solace and some comfort. Okay. I'm not a political pundit. I don't play one on YouTube. I don't even act to be. What I am is a constitutionalist, conservative, and I believe in conserving the Constitution. There you go. Conserving our republic. Nowhere in the Constitution is our form of government referred to as a democracy. This upsets me more than anyone can know. Every time I hear one of these fake news pundits call us a democracy, anytime I hear a politician call us a democracy, it gets my blood pressure up. We are a constitutional republic. Don't believe it? Read it. Do your research. Part of the issue we're having right now is low information and no information voters. These people, they listen to the news, the fake news. It's been proven. They lie. They can't tell the truth. They have a political agenda, and they're going to push it, such as calling an election. Like I said before, nowhere in the Constitution does it say the media can select our president. or our representatives. So do your research, and hopefully it will give you the courage and the enthusiasm to watch this play out. I don't have a whole lot of confidence in our Department of Justice over the past 3-4 years. You can see that they've really kicked the can down the road, and that's where we're at. So what we have here is we've got a bunch of court challenges coming up. If anybody watched election night, you can see that states like Virginia were trending towards the president and re-election. Okay, now Virginia, you know that the crazies are running that state. But then all of a sudden, one of the media pundits says, that's it, we're calling Virginia, Biden wins. Are you kidding me? Then stop the vote. Let's just hide the vote. Nobody's looking into this. Michigan, you saw it with your own eyes. Trump is up here, hiding and heels up. We're down here. And yeah, that's what I'm going to call them, hiding and heels up. You do your own research on those terms. So they're up here. The others are down here. Or maybe I should say up here and the others down here, just so I'm in camera. Wisconsin was up. Even Minnesota was up. Then Georgia was up. North Carolina up. All across the country. The president, the incumbent, was up here. The challengers were down here. Let's stop the vote. Put the brakes on. 4 o'clock in the morning. All of a sudden, all of these found votes come in. Why? A state like Florida, New York, Texas, California, very large states. In fact, the largest states in our republic had their votes counted by before midnight. States are called. Okay, no problem. At that point, I was thinking, okay, they're just reporting what is actually happening. But then I see Virginia flip, and I'm wondering, maybe I got wrong information. But as I did more research into this, I found out I really didn't have bad information. All these other states stopped. Boom, here's a 200,000, give or take. New ballots come in. 100% for the challenger, 0 for the incumbent. Now the balance of power just changed. This happened in Wisconsin. That's just really funny because in 9 districts in 2 cities of Wisconsin, Milwaukee and Madison, there was anywhere from 105% to 212% ballots received versus registered voters. Now, I'm not the greatest mathematician, but I would think that the best you could do would be 100%. And never in history has this ever happened. Statistically, it's impossible. Statistically, it's impossible for 200,000, give or take, votes to come in at 4 a.m. when there's video of a Ferrari and a Mercedes van pulling up in front of the polling station. 2 questionable characters get out of these vehicles, start getting crates of ballots, put them on a wagon, take them on inside. Where did those ballots come from? Nobody knows. I've seen videos of in Pennsylvania. Oh, I forgot to mention Pennsylvania, way up here for the incumbent, way down here for the challenger. So you see where that's going. Philadelphia kicks in. They're not allowing any judges to witness the ballots. Why would they do that? Only if they got something to hide. However, there were some people with cameras on poles that went above the cardboard that was on the windows. Noticed that there were several polling people that were filling in ballots. They were blank ballots that they were filling in and putting in the stack. I wonder how many back rooms across the country that was happening in. And then more ballots get found, and boom, the challenger gets higher and higher. And all the votes are for the challenger, but not for the incumbent. Now, you've seen the rallies, 40, 50, 60,000 people show up at a Trump rally during the campaign. 5, 6, maybe a dozen show up for the challenger. Old Hayden. And even when Heels Up had her rallies, there were still maybe 2 dozen people at the most. Even our last president showed up to try and bring in support for the challenger, Old Hayden. Maybe 2 dozen people showed up. It's incredible. There were more protesters, Trump supporters, at these rallies than there were Hayden supporters. So anyway, the whole problem with what's going on now, and all of these people are saying, well, it's over with. Let's just call it. No, that's because people are not informed. They don't understand what the construction of our government is. They don't understand what the Constitution says. They don't understand voting procedures. They don't even have a clue about legal challenges, except for what the lying media tells them. So I call it the unreliable media, but it could be fake news. But that's where they're getting their information. I had a long discussion last night with a certain family member of mine, and I won't say who this was because I'm not here to embarrass any of my family members, but I've had conversations with fellow workers, even a couple of friends that are so uninformed about what's going on that they just believe the first thing that the Communist News Network or MSDNC or even faux news tells them, that that's the facts. Well, we've all known that for many years that we were given misinformation. So what's to happen? Okay, we've got legal challenges. I have heard many of the cases, and I believe they're valid. These will go to district courts, then they will go to state courts, appellate courts, possibly even state Supreme Courts, but eventually they will go to the United States Supreme Court. Once again, thank God we've got a 5-4 majority. All 5 of the associate justices that we can rely on are constitutionalists. They've read this document. They pretty much know. You see I've got it highlighted in a lot of places too. So, I do my research. I just don't know why anybody else won't do it. Laziness, stupidity, whatever. Call it what you will. So, in a ideal situation, the votes would cut off. All the votes would be counted. The states would pick their electors. We'd have an electoral college vote on December 14th. That's also in the United States Code by statute. So that is out the window now. I seriously doubt we're going to see an electoral college vote because there's so many challenges across this country. Today is the 7th, I believe. Anyway, sorry. I just got home. Every day is another day. And, they all just blend together. Yeah, anyway, I believe today's the 7th. And, yep. Okay, I just looked at my clock and it's got the date on it. Okay, so today is the 7th of November, 4 days after the election. Complete chaos. Why? The vote stopped just so they could throw more in. Now, we all know that in Georgia, The Atlanta area is completely corrupt. It's run by a certain political party that has a history of corruption. So all of these new ballots were able to sneak in. Um, in Michigan, like I said, 195,000, I believe it was something like that, at 4 a.m. And this was in Detroit. Well, Detroit, okay, we know about Detroit. We also know about the governor of Michigan, Gretchen Whitmer, who was ordered by a judge to open up her state, take down her mandates. And what'd she do? She just basically gave the double barrel middle finger and says, hey, screw you. I'm going to double it up. Okay. The resistance movement. And we've seen a lot of this over the past 4 years. We've seen a lot worse than that, too. But what would possibly happen, and again, I went to the Constitution, and what could happen instead of electoral college is each state would be given one vote in the House of Representatives. Count them up. Um, there's a lot of red states that are in the House of Representatives. Not each representative gets a vote, but each state gets one vote. So, again, it's right here. Do your research. So, in Article 1, Section 5, each state shall be judges of elections. And in Article 2, Section 1, the House of Representatives, each state gets one vote. So there you go. I mean, like I said, I did a little bit of research. Why can't anybody else? But we keep hearing the fake news say Biden won. Yeah, horses patootie. So anyway, with these court challenges, sit back, get some popcorn. This could get interesting. There's been stories out on certain platforms, through certain channels that I've been listening to, that says that Department of Homeland Security prepared the paper that all of the official ballots were to be printed on. An invisible watermark. And there's been reports that across the country, a lot of these hidden votes did not have that watermark. These states that are real heavy in this fake mail-in ballot routine, we have a no chain of custody on mail-in ballots. You've heard improprieties about postmen dumping the bags of votes in the ditch, in dumpsters, things like this. Okay, that's not including all of the ballot harvesting. Anytime you have unsecured ballots, it's perfect for corruption. So think of that, and don't think that our current leadership is not aware of these things. These are all old playbook, uh, part of the old playbook, and um, yeah, I mean, dead people voting. We've been hearing that since Kennedy. Well, at least I have. I mean, I remember the Kennedy election, even though I was pretty young. And I just said, wait a minute, how can dead people vote? And I was, still in diapers, or probably just out of diapers, and I could still figure that one out. But in Nevada, we're hearing of a lot of people that don't live in the state had voted. Um, the dead vote got out really big. I mean, I think the dead vote was like 101%. Um, but again, like I said, we've got a lot of over ballots. Never, 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 never. This can't happen. So, if there is, in fact, these watermarks, that I'm not putting on a tinfoil hat, I'm just saying, if they do exist, can the Department of Homeland Security come in and start confiscating all these fake ballots? I think you'd see a big change in the numbers nationally. I mean, when you look at Rhode Island in the East Coast, it was trending for Trump before Faux News and Communist News Network and MSDNC called Rhode Island really early. They didn't want people to see this. Governor Matt Bevin in Kentucky, right before your eyes, lost votes in the middle of the election, and his opponent gained votes. Same amount. It was like 5,000 something votes. But how many times did they do that? So there's a lot of improprieties across the country. I believe even in Utah, where I live, which went 68 to 31% red. So that's rough numbers. I think it's 67.24 or something like that. I don't know, 67, 68%. We're still hearing some improprieties, but then we've got a couple of blueberries in this state of tomato soup, going back to what the former governor of Texas used to call Austin. It was a blueberry in the state of tomato soup. But that's even worse, because you go from Dallas all the way down the I-35 corridor and I-45 all the way to Houston, and that whole section right through the middle of Texas is nothing but ripe with corruption. And unless we get this taken care of now, folks, and that's going to take legal battles, we got to get this taken care of now. It's going to get ugly before it can get better. So pop you some popcorn, sit back, do some research. Don't watch the fake news. Please, God, don't watch the fake news. Talk to each other. Do some research. Talk to each other. Eat some popcorn. Do some more research. I do. And this past week, I haven't gotten a whole lot of sleep. I've been up really late and really early every day this week. I want to know the truth. And I'm sure not going to get it off the fake news. So anyway, sorry for going on my political rant. Hope you know that I love all of you. And I'm only doing this just to calm you down. Don't give up. We're not out of this yet. Let's let the legal minds take care of this. It's going to come down to Supreme Court, and should we prevail, which I'm praying that we do, next 4 years, we're just going to hear the fake news say it was a stolen election, and and everything else. But if we should prevail and the truth is exposed, then hopefully our next election will have a fair and free election and not belong to the banana republic of America. That's what we've become. Thank you, Democrats, for once again, and deep state. Let's not forget about the deep state, and that includes a lot of rhinos. Thank you, Mitt Romney. I'm coming for you. Anyway, that's another story. I've been working a lot on that little issue that I still can't believe that Utah voted for Mitt Romney. Oh, what a rhino. And he's part of this deep state thing. And if you ever investigate Romney, you'll understand why. He's so deep into China and other globalist activities that it's not even funny. And I didn't know how bad it was till I started investigating into him. But anyway, so we've got a whole political system that is completely off the rails. And I'm hoping that friends and family that may watch this, that you do your research. I've told you to do your research. You can't just go off what the fake news is saying. And all my friends out here, you do the same, please. I love y'all, and pray.